Hey everyone, I'm your host, The Voicebox, and with Death Stranding 2 on the beach arriving on June 26th, and on the June 24th if you get the Deluxe Edition, allowing you to play it 2 days prior. It's time for a powerful refresher of Death Stranding 1, I'd say. But there is some serious spoilers that lie ahead, so newcomers do beware. But if you want to fully grasp DS2's emotional story, it's only right that we look back on this deep dive to its predecessor.
Isn't this what you've been waiting for this whole time?
The game begins in a shattered post-apocalyptic United States. Remnants of the Death Stranding event have torn the boundary between life and death, spawning invisible apparitions known as BTs and unleashing the corrosive Timefall rain that ages everything in seconds. As Sam, or rather the player, travels, you battle Timefall, which rusts metal, degrades roadworks and shortens equipment's lifespan, and tar pits which trap bodies. If not incinerated, they turn into BTs and can spark localized voidouts. Chiralium and the mist of the dead matter particles fuels BB's detection. Network signals and even Doom's abilities is the connective tissue that binds life to the beach. Humanity now clings to survival in isolated knot cities and bunkers, connected sporadically by the chiral network via bridges, with porters, like Sam Porter bridges, travelling across the deadly terrain to reconnect communities, and some are not so willing to do so.
But not everyone was willing to accept it.
More than a few would rather stay isolated.
Sam, a repatriate, possesses Dooms, abilities that let him survive death by returning from the seam, a liminal space between life and the afterlife. Although every time he dies near a BT, it triggers a devastating voidout, levelling entire cities with huge craters. Sam's journey opens with a perilous delivery ride that ends when Timefall forces him into a cave where he meets Fragile, another high Dooms porter who can partially see BTs and teleport short distances using her ability, as well as being able to transport others to different locations. Sam then continues to Central Knot City, where he joins Igor's convoy to incinerate a corpse before it transforms into a BT due to necrosis. A plan that fails, leading to the iconic Central Knot City voidout. Igor dies along with Sam, but Sam is reborn as a repatriate, given on his abilities that he acquired during his time as a child when he died in the facility, and Amelie giving him these abilities to repatriate. Inheriting Igor's BB, a premature fetus in a pod that allows people to detect BTs. Sam awakens in Capital Knot City and meets Deadman, a British scientist who outfits him with BB care gear and explains BBs and BTs. Assigned to deliver morphine to President Bridge Strand, he learns she is his adoptive mother, leaving her final wishes for him to continue reconnecting America after her death. As she dies, Sam must carry her corpse across the mountains for cremation before Timefall and BTs unleash another voidout. In the incinerator, Sam activates his BB, nicknamed Lou, and glimpses fragmented memories of a mysterious soldier, later revealed to be Clifford Unger. Sam's emotional bond forms early with Lou, and he burns Bridget's body, preventing destruction but sealing his role in Bridges.
Before and after we're made whole, we'll need men in the middle.
No rest for the wicked, huh?
Back at Capital Knot City, Sam meets Di Hardman, Bridget's loyal commander, and the man who literally built the UCA, a trusted general during the pre-Stranding era. He survived the catastrophe by severing parts of his memory, but the weight of responsibility still haunts him. He asks Sam to pick up the flag where Bridget left it. With Amelie's calling echoing in his mind, Sam reluctantly takes the mission to reconnect America. From here on, Sam begins building the chiral network by delivering terminals and supplies across America. Along the way, he meets Fragile again, wounded and burning with revenge against Higgs Monaghan, a powerful Dooms terrorist who commands BTs and seeks mass extinction.
Dooms? People like us? She's the source of it all! Nightmares that haunt us, the visions of an inescapable future. Sound familiar? Hey, Sam!
Sam's path repeatedly collides with Higgs, dubbed the Man in the Golden Mask, a master of teleportation and BT control, similar to the new character we now know as Tomorrow in DS2, who shares very similar ability to Higgs and hence their overall connection. Higgs terrorizes porters from deliveries, holds Amelie captive and manipulates BT swarms aiming to trigger the final stranding, an extinction level cataclysm. To protect Amelie, he taunts her with chaos and keeps Sam in a desperate chase across mountain peaks, frozen wastelands and bridges barely standing, each showdown escalating the stakes until finally Sam defeats him on Amelie's beach. Higgs survives but is broken, but we do see him arrive in DS2. Amelie, as we know, simply casts him aside and his obsession with the death-bringing web unravels him emotionally.
5. We've had 5 mass extinctions, each caused by an extinction entity. And now it's time for number 6.
Sam grows closer to Deadman, a living sculpture of a man. He is, as he implies, Frankenstein's monster. His skin's patched, stitched and suspended on a metal frame because he was reconstructed from cavalier parts. He clearly lacks the identity he wishes to find, but delights in naming everything that makes him feel alive. He teaches Sam a lot about BBs and how they function, but sees them nothing more than a tool, only up until he understands the heartwarming relationship between Lou and Sam. Deadman has no connection to the other side, the beach or the afterlife because he lacks a soul. However, due to his connection to Sam and Lou allowed him to do so in Sam's time of need. It still remains unclear of his position in Death Stranding 2. The irony of Deadman's existence, alive yet devoid of life, mirrors the game's themes of connection and humanity, which in contrast the sequel aims to change from rather the rope and the stick to the need for the stick.
The UCA's precursor, the United States of America, had a prominent gun culture. A distinctly American philosophy, and one which would appear to have spread to this continent. The more we seek to unite the people with metaphorical ropes, the more essential sticks seem to become.
Characters like Lockney and Mama, who is locked inside her stillborn daughter's containment pod, she created Flo, her daughter's consciousness in a simulated environment, but can't touch her or truly be with her. At some point, Sam lets Flo free. He sends the baby to the beach, but this also leaves Mama at the border of the dead because cutting the cord freed her but also terminated the link that kept her in the living world. Mama and Lockney are essentially one. When Mama dies, Lockney's right eye turns blue, indicating the connection of their souls being intertwined, and that her soul had entered her body, resulting in 2 minds in one person.
Lingen. Hockman.
Unlike most bodies, Mama's body showed no signs of necrosis even despite death. This is an indication of dooms and shows a similarity between Bridget Strand, an extinction entity, but is yet to remain seen in DS2. Hartman is another anchor in Sam's journey too. His heart literally stops every 21 minutes, during which he briefly visits the afterlife in search of his family. Hartman is an essential character in the story who's trying to figure out the purpose of the Death Stranding and how to understand how it works, essentially adapting to the environment as well as discovering its true purpose both in life and death. It is thanks to Hartman's research that he discovers that through the course of history there's been several Death Strandings with extinction entities that have taken many forms other than Amelie. And through something called supercell events, powerful localized storms called chiral storms, which are a type of timefall, drags Sam on these worn-torn beaches throughout history, similar to what we've seen in Death Stranding 2 with the new character we know as Neil, or aka Stranded Snake. Clifford Unger, who is Sam's biological father, can't be at rest as he believes that Lou, the BB in the pod, is Sam. It's only up until he discovers the truth that he can finally be at peace. Bridget, torn by grief and irrational impulse, accidentally kills both Sam and Unger, prompting Amelie to reincarnate Sam, thus triggering the stranding. Then there's Lucy Strand, who was Sam's love interest and a therapist working for Bridges before the Death Stranding. The report suggests that Lucy started having intense nightmares caused by these dooms. Bridget took Lucy to the beach to prove the nightmares were real. There, Lucy figured out the truth about Sam's origins, the connections between Bridget and Amelie, and the nature of the stranding. She realised she and her baby was a part of something much bigger and far more dangerous. Unable to handle the truth, Lucy unalived herself thanks to YouTube not allowing us to say the word that begins with an S. While Sam was out working, she took pills and sedatives and her body started to decay afterward. Officially, both she and the baby passed on. However, there's more to the story. Lucy's death is controversial and some fans believe she may have been forced into it or that it was necessary for Emily's plan. The report suggested something suspicious inside Bridges, possibly tied to the BB experiments that created Lou. The one big question remains, what happened to Sam's child? Deadman says in Death Stranding 2's trailer at the very end that BB-28, which is Lou, was incinerated.
Now, according to them, BB-28 was flagged for disposal and subsequently incinerated 4 years ago, long before you and Lou first met.
And practically most BBs have a limited lifespan from our knowledge in the fandom, but some think Sam's daughter might still be alive and possibly inside Lou's pod, with some suggesting that she might be Elle Fanning's character tomorrow, but in the future, because Death Stranding is known to take place in the future, the past, the present, and switches so forth and so on. The cutscenes clearly hint at that dynamic. There's also the speculation that the woman in the DS2 trailer talking to Neil could be Lucy Strand, Sam's ex-partner. Nothing is confirmed, but it's a major point to keep in mind for when you play the game. If you play the director's cut, there's essential background information regarding some of the characters such as Fragile, Higgs and her parents, and in this we get to gain access to a ruined factory where Sam encounters pre-recorded logs from a woman named Coffin, later confirmed to be Fragile's mother. Coffin was a porter working for Bridges tasked with transporting sensitive cargo, just like Neil. She and her team eventually discovered they were unknowingly delivering BBs, infant children being used in experiments. Some of these BBs were connected to brain-dead mothers, artificially sustained as still mothers for BB functionality. Coffin and her group rejected Bridges after learning the truth and ultimately went rogue, but this added backstory exposes the pivotal information we need to know about the up-and-coming sequel about Bridges.
Like brain dead, pregnant women.
No one would possibly allow that.
That's why I have to smuggle them in. They make me bring them over from Mexico.
Back onto the main line of the story, at last Sam reaches Amelie's beach, an ethereal sea of black, sand and dead whales. There Amelie, revealed as both president and extinction entity, admits her secret. She's destined to trigger extinction. Building the chiral network was a test to decide whenever humanity deserves survival. Sam battles Higgs again, fighting past BT infestations to reach the truth. Their final encounter is an emotional one and philosophical. Amelie's torn between duty and doubt and must choose, and Sam refuses to be another catalyst. He connects with her not as a porter, not as a party to a cosmic destiny, but as a human brother, and tells her that she's not alone. Embraced by Sam's love and Lou's presence, Amelie rejects extinction, at least for now, mends her fractured soul and seals her beach, delaying the last stranding, but removes herself from humanity's network entirely. So Sam awakens back into reality, returning to Capital Knot City as Die Hardman becomes president, although we learn the presidency changes hands 6 years later. Though the memory is shattered, he rallies the survivors and uses leftover BB and Chiralium tech to maintain this network. Fragile rebuilds Fragile Express and sets off on her own path. Lou is dying, because BBs are meant to expire, but Sam defies protocol, remembering Deadman's lessons. He removes Lou from the pod, and in a scene heavy with emotion, he holds up the limp baby, waiting, then Lou breathes. It's a miracle, imbued with cosmic empathy. Sam breaks his UCA cufflinks, rejecting all government and affiliation control, and disappears off-grid like before, which continues into Death Stranding 2, where we see Sam raising Lou and taking her on porter missions from after the events of the first game, and the custody between Sam and Fragile with Lou seems to change hands a few times, as we see in the cutscenes, with the rest of the game ultimately exploding into the cosmos of the unknown until we can finally piece together the outcome in Death Stranding 2, this month. So with that being said, the arrival of DS2 is long awaited and it's finally just round the corner, and with now only just a couple more days to wait. So I really hope this video has been informative to jog your memory for the up and coming DS2 game. The lore can be quite complex, but then again it's a Hideo Kojima game, and if you're brand new and you just want to go straight into the sequel and you can't be bothered with the first story, I hope this has cleared a few things up for you to get a better understanding. Anyway guys, with that being said, please feel free to hit that like button down below, and if you're new, please consider subscribing for anything Death Stranding related, and I'll see all of you guys in the next video.
How does it feel to be back in the saddle?
Works, same as it ever was.